Okay, good evening, students. Can you hear me? Okay, right. Thanks. Now we just want to discuss the 2019 Euro paper questions. Now we just start with the structured essay and then we go to the MCQ and then finally come to the essay type questions. Now, the first question, normally you get the content on the HTML, CSS and PHP. Now, in this question, we are asking to draw the expected output of the following HTML code segment by the browser. Now, this is the HTML code you are given. You're asking what is output which will generate. So then here basically we have the body section, and then now we know this one is a comment. This is a comment, so which will not be displayed. So this is how you can add the comments in the HTML. Remember, this will not be displayed on the browser because this is a comment. And then we have a paragraph. Remember, the paragraph text will add the blank lines before and after the paragraph. So what happened? This will be displayed, this text will be displayed. But remember here, the things are written in kind of italic format. But in the browser, it won't be displayed in italic format. It should be displayed in the normal format text, like output should be social networking. Social networking has, and the line breaks. So line break means it goes to the next line. It goes to next line. And with the underline, we will get the advantages. Now this should be come with the underline, and in the same line, you get the disadvantages. So this should be underlined actually. That's the output you should get. This should be underlined like this. This is how you should get the output for this first part. Because the line breaking goes to the next line and U means underline. So that should be the answer for the first part. Then you go to the second part. Draw the expected output of the following HTML code segment. Now this one is basically when you see the table, then you should know we want to create a table. So you want to create a table, and then the border is given as 1. Table caption. Now the caption should be appeared on the top as schedule. Now how many rows are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. In this table, there should be 4 rows actually. 4 rows must be there. And then the columns are decided by the TH and the TD. Now the first row, we have TH. TH means table headings. What's the difference between the TH and the TD? Remember, TD is a normal text will be appeared, but in the TH, it will be bold color and the center line. So things will be center lines. But TD will be normal fonts. It will not be appeared in the center line. So that is the thing you should understand. We're now going to create this table. So this should create a table with there should be 4 rows, and again the 2 columns actually. And then yeah, there should be 4 rows, like you must have a table like this. There should be 4 rows like this, and the 2 columns. But if you look at the last row, if you look at the last row, remember they have mentioned the last row, col span equal to. What is the meaning of that? That means two columns are merged together. Two columns are merged together and create a one column. So in that case, for the last row, the columns will be merged. Therefore, it should appear like this. Last row two columns should be merged together. So then you need to have the caption. Caption should be here on the top. If it is below, you have to say align equal bottom. Then it should come to the bottom. Otherwise, it should appear here. Schedule. That is the caption. And then first one is time and the event. This should be center line, remember, and bold color. It should be center line and bold color and event. And then other value should be normally this side, right side align, 18, so 18, should be drama. 10 name, convenience, like this. Last row should be lunch. It should be here in this. It should be table data, therefore it should be here. It should be appear like this. Remember, this one should be bold color. This should be bold color, and this should be bold because they are table headings, TD, TH. This is how you should get the table, and the border should be there. You need to draw the border here. Actually, border should be there in the table because they have given the border is equal to 1. So that should be the answer for the part 2. Then the part B, you asking write the two advantages using the external style sheets when certain creating web pages. Now remember, style sheets will be implemented externally. When you take a large website, let's say if the website contains hundred of thousands of web pages, in that case, if the website has large number of web pages, there are 100, 200 web pages in the website. In that case, by using external style sheet, you can control all the web pages. That means all the web pages, we can have the same style, same format, same structure. That is the one advantage actually. All the web pages will have the same structure, same format, same color theme. Like you can have that consistency among the pages. That is the one thing you can do with the external CSS file. Yeah, you can have the styles in external CSS file. What you do, you define the styles, and these styles will be used by all the pages. So here the idea is that when you take a web page, there can be some different formatting structures actually. So in that case, in the style sheet, you define the style of the text and the paragraph and everything you define. What color theme, like everything you define the style sheets. So then what happen? All the web pages needs to follow the same style and the same format and the same structure. Therefore, advantage of having this one is actually all the pages have the consistency. All the pages have the same structure and the same format. All pages may have same format and structure. So therefore, there will be consistency of the pages. And the second thing is, if I want to make some changes by modifying the style sheet, all the pages will be updated suddenly. Now, if there are 100, 200 pages, you don't need to go to each page individually and make some changes. Once the style sheet is changed, what happened? All the pages in the website, let's say currently web page background color is a blue color. Let's say I want to change all the pages background color to different color. In that case, you have to just modify the style sheet. Then all the 100 pages or 1000 pages will be updated suddenly. That is advantage. That is basically updation. Updation of the pages are very easy. Because whenever you just modify a style sheet, all the pages will be updated. You don't need to go to each and every page individually and make the updations. That is a big advantage when a website has thousands of pages. So those are the advantages of the what we call style sheets, where you can define the styles. That the styles will be utilized by all the pages. Therefore, all the pages will be have the same consistency. And again, it is very easy to make the updation or changes to the web pages. So those are the answers you have to write. Then the next question regarding the CSS group selector. Now they are saying that we want to use the given element. We want to set the given attributes. That means for the paragraph, color, font family, text align is given. Color is a red color. Font family is a Calibri. Text align is justified. Heading 1, color is red. Font family is a Calibri. Heading 2, it's a red color. Font family is justified. So we are asking to use the group selector. Now we want to make the code very small, and then we want to develop the style sheets accordingly. So what you can do is see the common things here. So if you look at here, the numbers, we have the font family Calibri. Here also have the color red color, font family is a Calibri. And here also have the color red color, font family is a Calibri. So that can be taken into one style. So therefore you can define using the group selector. You can write like this. You can write for the paragraph what style we want to use. For the paragraph, you can use the paragraph, and again for the heading 1, and again for the heading 2. So all of them will have the same style. That is, we can define color. So color is defined as, remember you have to use a colon. Color should be red color and separate by semicolon. And then next one is a font family. Font family should be Calibri. And then text align. Text align should be justified. So that is the one style you can define for paragraph heading 1 and heading 2. Then you can see there's a missing one, that is for the paragraph and the paragraph and the heading 2 have the text align. So that you can write separately. That is, we have the paragraph as well as heading 2. Heading 2, we have paragraph and heading 2, we have text align. sorry. In the first one, actually, we should not have text align. We want to remove this one. Remove the text line there. We don't have the text line. We should have only the color and font family. For the second one, we need to have the text line. Here we have to have the text line is justified. Yeah, that's the easy way to complete all the required requirements. Paragraph heading 1, heading 2 will have the color and the font family, which is common. And paragraph and the heading 2 will have the additional requirement or text style, that is text line is justified. So that way you can cover all the requirements. This is how you should create it. Then you are given the PHP code is sending to add the data into a name and class field. That means there is a table name as students. In this student table, there are two columns. What are the columns? Name and the class. You have to carefully read the question, you can understand the requirements. So they have mentioned there is a table, database table called as student. And where we have the two columns, that is name column and the class column. We are going to insert the data. There's a table student, database name is this one, this is a database name. And username and password is given. This is a username and this is a password. And sorry, this is the database name, this is a username and this is a password. So in the PHP connection, now this is the place you create a connection. So this function is the one which create a connection. Now this is the server name, localhost. Then remember we need to give the database name. What's the database name? Is SchoolDB. School_DB. That's the database name. So I have to give the database name. That's the second one. Third one, you have to give the username, admin. Sorry, this should be done with the quotation marks. Okay, admin and the password. A2T star. Remember, this should be done with the quotation marks. You need to have the quotation marks here and there. Quotation marks should be used like this. And then you create a connection, and this is the one which will check the connection is successful where there are no errors. And then this is the one you put the SQL statement to insert the data. To insert the data, what are the SQL command? SQL command is insert into. That's the command you have to use to insert the data. Insert into table name. What is the table name? They have given table name as student. That's the table name. Insert into table name. And the column name. What are the column names? One is name. Other one is class. So those are the column names. Insert into, and these are the values. And then you have to run the query. Now to run the query, the query string should be given. This is the one where we have the query actually. This is the one we have the query. So then you have to give this query name here to run the query. So this is the one which will run the SQL statement. So to do that one, you have to give the SQL query name, that is $SQL, that contains the SQL command. So that will be executed. This is how you should complete the second part, part C. So I don't think it's difficult if you look at this note. We have discussed these things previously, actually. If you have any questions, you can ask anytime. Okay, this is again one of the easy question actually. So now look at the given wordings. So you have got the list of words: advertising as a revenue model, credit cards, government tendering service, government to citizens G2C service, group purchasing, harmful explosive, online marketplace, payment gateway, perishable goods, social commerce, subscription as a revenue model, traditional marketplace. Let's see those things and which can match each one. Now, first one, a place where buyer and the seller interact physically for exchanging the goods and services for a price. I think that is very obvious. And the buyer and the seller will communicate or interact with each other physically. That is basically traditional marketplace. Traditional marketplace is the one where the buyer and seller will meet together physically. So that is a traditional marketplace. That should be the answer for the first one. Second one, these are usually prohibited to be sold or purchased through the e-commerce systems. So that is very obvious. What are things that are prohibited to buy and sell through the online systems or e-commerce system is harmful explosive. Harmful explosive, that is not allowed to sell or buy through the e-commerce systems. Then the question 2 answer should be that harmful explosive. Then third one, users pay a regular fee to have full access to a website of the business. That means you have to pay regularly for some services. As an example, now I am using the Zoom account. Now for the Zoom account, I have to pay monthly some amount. That is a monthly subscription. When I pay only, I get this service. Like that, those are we call as kind of revenue model. That is the way the people who deal the Zoom earn the money. So that is kind of revenue models actually. That is we call as subscription as a revenue model. Subscription as a revenue model. That is you have to have some subscription monthly or yearly to get some services. That is we call as a subscription as a revenue model. That is how that organization earn the revenue. So just keep in mind that example, the Zoom package. We want to pay either monthly or yearly, you have to make a payment. That is called the subscription. That is the way they earn the money. So that is equal as subscription as a revenue models. Then next one, fourth one, a subset of e-commerce that involves using social media to assist in online buying and selling. That is kind of a subset of e-commerce. We know that buying and selling and services for, but that involves social media. So through the social media, we are going to make some online buying and selling process. That is we call as a social commerce. Through the social media, we are going to buy and sell some items. Then the next one facilitates a payment transaction by the transfer of the information between the e-commerce application and backend financial services provides through the secure means. That means we know that when you take this online transaction, we won't have some payment transaction methods. Normally, these payment transaction methods are done with a methodology we call as a payment gateway. So the payment gateway, you can do this, make the payments through this online services actually. Payments are handled by this payment gateway. So therefore, the backend service which is given to provide this payment transaction is a payment gateway. Answers that one. Then the last question, the revenue of the vehicle revenue license using online vehicle revenue license service offered by the relevant government office. That means government is giving the services to citizens. Therefore, that should be a government to citizen G2C service. The last one, so that is the answer for the last one. Like you can logically think which one the decision. Then we have a Python program. So you can take carefully what it is. So Python does actually now usually there's a variable which is initialized to 0. Now for this kind of question, better to create a small table and then see how does it continue. So create a small table so that you can see how values are going to be changed. Now here, first column you can have the value x. Next column you have the value n. And then you have the termination condition and the output. So you can have the values here. First column you can have the value x and then the value n and the termination condition n greater than 0 and the output. So initially x equals 0. And initially you can see n equals 4. They have given input set. So initially n is how much? 4. Is the input. Initially, so what it does, initially n is 4, therefore that value 4 goes here for this input. For this input, you get the value 4. Now x is 0, n is 4. Then you check the n is positive. Yes, it's positive, true. Condition is true because it is positive. Condition is true. Then you check whether n larger than x. N is how much? 4. X is how much? 0. Yes. When you compare this, 4 is larger than 3. Therefore, you upgrade the x equal to 4. Then x becomes how much? 4. And read the next input. What's the next input? 6. N is how much? 6. It's a loop. So you go back to this one again. Remember, this line is not a part of a while loop. It is outside the while loop. Therefore, these are the lines inside the while loop. And then you go to the loop again here. Then n is how much? Now 6. 6 is positive. Condition is true. And then x n is how much? How much? 4. Yes, condition is true. That means 6. Input 3. Then you check. Zero, yes. Then you check whether 3, 6, n is how much? Condition false. Take the next thing. And go. And you check with the n is how much? 2. 2 larger than 6. No. It's not. Nothing happened. 8. Check. Is the 8 larger than 6? Yes. Condition is true. And check whether 8 larger than x. 8 is, n is how much? 8. X is how much? 6. Is 8 larger than 6? Then you update this. Then what happens? X becomes 8. Then you read the next input. What's the next input? -1. Then you go here and check. Is a -1 positive? No. Exit. And exit, you run the print x. X is how much? 8. Output is 8. So this program output will be X. If you're asking what is the purpose of the program, I think it's very obvious. What do? We searched all the elements until you input the -1. This program runs until you input the -1 because when this is minus exit. So basically what is output 8? 8 means the largest value of the input. So therefore this program is developed to find out the largest value of the input. So therefore the answer is that the answer output is 8. The purpose is to find the maximum value or largest value in the given input. Now this question, consider the following entry relationship diagrams which represent the information about projects conducted by staff attached to a software development company. So now we have the entity, staff, company, project. That means there are 3 tables up to now: staff table, company table, and project table. And look at the cardinality, which is important actually. When you look at the cardinality, this one, company to staff, 1 to many, and company to project, 1 to many, and staff to project, many to many. That means one staff can work on many projects. One project may have many staff. That is what is meant by many to many. So now your question is asking the number of hours that each staff member works on each project is recorded. Draw the attribute number of hours in the relevant position in the yard diagram. Now where we should put the number of hours where the staff is working. So remember here the thing is, when you look at this number of hours where the staff is working, the staff to project cardinality is many to many. That means one staff can work on many projects. One project has many staff. In that case, remember this work for means another table should be there. There should be another table for this because you know that when you get the cardinality many to many, the relationship should be built using another table because one staff can work on many projects and one project has many staff. In that case, this number of hours where the staff is working on a project, you can't edit here actually. And you can't edit here. Why is that? Why you can't add here and there? Because one staff may work multiple projects. In that case, if you add that one here, the same staff member will have multiple records for the number of hours. And if you add this one here, for multiple projects, same staff will be there. So then it will be duplicated. So therefore, this number of hours should be added to this table. There's a table for the relationship. So then remember, we need to add the number of hours here. Number of hours should be added here as a attribute, number of hours. So it should be here. Maybe it should be appeared here. Then the next part, for each accepted project, a temporary location is rented for the staff for the duration of the project. For each location, the owner name, phone number, address, rent, rented date, rented periods are recorded. One project has only one location. A rented location is used only for one project. So therefore it is related to the project. One project has only one location and one rental location is used only for one project. That means one-to-one relationships. when a certain project is completed, the location rented for the project will be released and handed over to the owner. So that means it should be related to the project. That means for the project, there should be uh, a kind of relationship here. And there should be entity as location. So project has location. And there should be attributes. One is for each location, the owner name is a one attribute, and then address, and then rent. Those are some attributes in a rented date, and then phone number, period. Those must be the so phone numbers, these attributes there. And another thing you should know, when you take this location, owner name, address, rent, rented period, phone number, rented date can't be a primary key. Therefore, this one doesn't have a primary. Draw these things primary. So to draw with the double. Because you can't select any of the primary. That is how you the next question. Write down the most appropriate term from the given list to fill the blanks. So you have the ALOA application layer, classless interdomain routing, dynamic host configuration protocol, domain name systems, network layer, packet switching, parity bits, parity byte, proxy server. Let's see what are the answers. Now the first question provides IP address for the given URL. I think that's very obvious. Once the domain name is given, like let's use the domain name as a Google, you want to get the IP address. So who is giving that one? DNS server, domain name server. It's very obvious. RCS DNS, domain name service one, which converts the URL into the IP address. Then FTP, SMTP, Telnet, like those services are actually application layer services. In the OSI 7 layers, even the application level layers protocols are FTP, SMTP, DHCP, Telnet like this. Then next one, with the device may get different IP addresses every time it connects. That is actually IP address dynamically change. That is actually DHCP. That is the one which will provide the IPs time to time. Available IPs are given to the users when they are logging. So each time they get a new IP address. So that different IP address was assigned by the DHCP server, dynamic host configuration protocol. That should be the answer for the third one. Then helps to effectively manage the available IPs. Now remember that is actually classless IP interdomain. So classless interdomain routing, that is the one available IP address can be utilized where you can partition. Now you know that three classes, class A, class B, class C. In class A you partition 8 and 24. Class B you partition network and host part 16 and 16. Class U partition 24 and 8. That is how you partition. In that case, there's a disadvantage. Some organization will get class B IP. In that case, you get large number of IPs that are not used, that are not going to be used. In that case, you can use a classless interval routing where you can ignore the classes and you can partition wherever you like. That is particularly the classless interval routing where you can utilize the IP address effectively. The answer is here. Then the last one in data transmission for the process of error detections. Now remember the data communication, error detections are done with methodology we call as a parity bit. Parity bit. This is the one, sorry, this is the one, not the byte, parity bit. So this is the one you have to use to detect the errors in the bits. When the bits are moving through the network, some bits will be changed to 1 to 0, 0 to 1. So that kind of errors can be detected by the parity bit. So therefore, the answer is parity bit. Any questions up to now? Are there any questions? Any questions you have? No, ne? Okay, right, thanks. So we just go to the fourth question, that is operating systems. Now, I am planning to start the revision class on next week. That will be held on both Thursday and Tuesday because we want to cover all the lessons from the beginning. So you also can join to that class which will be held every Thursday and Tuesday, starting from the next Thursday, 14th. We are starting the operating system lesson there actually on the Thursday class. On Tuesday class, I'm starting the networking lesson. That is why I'm planning to complete lessons and then I want to cover all the lessons used in those 2 days actually for starting from the beginning for each lesson. You can join to that class. I have already shared the details. If you want, you can join to that WhatsApp group so that I will share the links there. Okay, then this question, operating system question. Now, an operating system uses a PCB. Now, you know this PCB is a data structure. What you do, we save all the details about the current process in this PCB, including the process ID, program counter, register content, and CPU schedule information, memory management information, file allocation details, and process state. We have learned the state transition diagram. Process state, whether it is a new state, ready state, running state, terminating state, dating state. Like in the file state diagram, we record the states, what is the state currently, will be saved there. So like all the details about the current process will be saved in this data structure called the PCB. Now we are given, read the following scenario and answer the given questions. Rani starts a computational application on a single process computer. While the relevant computations are in progress, she starts a browser application as well. order to search for some information. Write down the content that will be stored in the PCB fields of the computing process. That means first one. When the computing process going from computing process to web browser process, context switch is made. Then the program counter is the one which records. Now we were running that computing process. What happened? Suddenly we suspend that and go to the web browser because it says that you start the computation application while it is progressing. Automatically you suspend that. You go to which one? Web browser applications. In that case, the computer process was suspend. So when your program is suspend, remember later to start it again. Now, once you take the program, now let's say this is the program code. And here we have multiple lines of codes we are running. So here we have multiple lines of codes like this. So the program executing means we are running this program. Now what happened? We are running this program, but while you're running, suddenly you run another program. In that case, you have to suspend this one. And let's say you suspend at this point before you run this line. So then what happened? We need to have the program counter, or program counter means basically a register which contains the address of the memory location where the next instruction is available. So therefore, in the program counter, what we need to save the address of the memory location for the next instruction to be executed. Because we have not executed because the interrupt has received. So that is what we have to save there. That's what you save in the program. On the process state, what happened? Now this process was running, then it was interrupted. Remember, whenever interrupt is occurred, it goes to what is state, ready state. If you can remember the state transition diagram, what happened? Process is running, it was interrupted by the web browser. Since it's interrupted, it will go back to this state and wait for the CPU. Because other states will go to actually waiting and terminated. But here the program will be not terminated, will be suspended. In that case, it will come to the ready queue and wait in the ready queue again to get another chance to compute the restart the execution of the program from this point onwards. Okay, then the part B. What is mean by contiguous file space allocation? Contiguous allocation means in the hard disk, what happened? We have the blocks. We have the blocks like this. This is one block. This is another blocks. This is another block. In hard disk, file are having as a blocks. Normally, block size is 512 bytes. Like this, we have the blocks. Now, the contiguous allocation means we allocate consecutive blocks together. Now, let's say for the file 1, we allocate these blocks together. Let's say we allocate the 4 blocks or 5 blocks together. And next one, we allocate another set of blocks. Let's say 2 blocks together. Next one, we allocate another blocks together, which is equal as a contiguous allocation. Contiguous allocation. We allocate the contiguous blocks for the file. Now, for the first file, we have allocated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blocks have allocated. So we allocate contiguous blocks together, which is equal to contiguous allocation. What are the drawbacks? The main drawback is once you allocate these 5 blocks for this file, if this file needs another block, you can't get this space because next block is allocated to another file. Therefore, one of the major problem here you get file cannot be extended or file cannot grow. That is one problem. Other problem is some instant there will be pre-blocks but that cannot be used because the only size is very small. That is we call as external fragmentation. So that is another problem which you will get here called external fragmentation. Those are the problems you will get, remember, in the continuous allocation. However, continuous allocation is feasible to store a set of files on the CD-ROM. Yes. Why is that? Now remember, it's a CD-ROM. ROM means read only. After you write something, the file will not be extended. File cannot grow again because it's read only. Read only means you don't write. You don't add anything new. So in that case, this is okay because even that file will not be grow. So because file cannot be grow, in that case, you don't need to have the space from there. Therefore, this is useful for the CD-ROM. Read ROM means read only, where you can't write anything. Then the next one is, in addition to the normal data item, write down one other information that the will exist in a file block in a linked file allocation schema. Now, other methodology which you can use to store the file is a linked, what we call the linked list. That is, we don't allocate the contiguous blocks like this. When you have the blocks like this, we can have links together. So if you have the blocks like this in the linked allocation, what happens? You start with one block, and that creates a links to another block somewhere there. And that creates a links to another one somewhere there. So in that case, this is called linked allocation. Now the question is asking, in addition to the normal data items, write down one other information that will exist in a file block in the linked allocation. Now that is actually in addition to the data. Now here in addition data, you're asking what do you have? So definitely you need to have the pointer or the address of the next block. Once you come here, you have to save, in addition to the data here, we have to have the address of the next block we want to have. That is what you have to keep in each block. In addition to the normal data, we want to have the address of the next block should be there. That is what we have to have in the linked file allocation strategy. Okay, next one, you are given, there's a 32-bit systems. Assume that 32 kilobyte program is run on the computer having 32 KB physical memory. The page size of the system is 4 GB. Now page size is given. The page table of the process at a particular time shown. Now this is a page table. So we know that page table is used to map the page numbers into frame numbers. Here you can see we know the page number and corresponding frame number is given in the binary format. And this will indicate what pages are present, what pages are not present in the memory. Now here the pages are not in the memory, they are in the hard disk. That is why that bit is 0. They are not in the memory, they are in the hard disk. So in this case, it says that only few selected fields are shown. The frame number is indicated binary. Now this one is a binary value. The virtual address on the page number 0 are from 0 to 4095 because it's a 4 KB. Now 4 KB means 4 into 1024, that means 4096. Therefore, one page will have the address from 0 to 4095, that means 4096 in the page 0, page 1, 1 to 4096 to this one. Like when you take a one page, remember one page has 4 kilobyte, that means 4096 bytes are there. That is what it says here. The first one contains the values from 0 to 4095 means there are 4096 bytes inside the first page. Second page, another 4096. Then the present absent bit indicates the validity of the entry. If it is 1, the entry is valid, otherwise invalid means this is not in the memory, that is in the hard disk. That is what you should understand. Then this question. Assume this program requires accessing the virtual address 8200. To which physical address will it get transferred to? I think it's very obvious, because now you are asking, assume this program requires accessing the virtual address of this one, 8200. That means you need to find out what is the page address. Now here, when you take a page, now the first page, remember, when to the first page will have the address from starting from 0 to 4095, because there should be 4096 pages, bytes in the first page. Second page is start with 4096 and double of that one. That means 8192, but it's been 91, because 4096, 4090 is double. 4096 double means 16 12, 92. Yeah, 8192. Since we start with 0, last address is 8191. The next page, if you get the next page will start with the address. Next page will start with the address 8192 from this one onwards. Then you can see this address, then you should understand this address 8200. This address should be in this page. That means this is page number 0, this is page number 1, this is page number 2. So 8200 should be in that page number 2. You are asking, assume the program request in the virtual address, to which physical address will it get transferred to? So in that case, you can see this is the page number 2. This is page number 2. So then you have to go to the page table. So when you go to the page table, if you go to the page table here, sorry. If you go to the page number 2 here, this one. So it says frame number how much? Frame number this one, frame number 2. It is valid actually. It is valid. So therefore, page number 2 is in the frame number 2. Frame number 2. So then you should know that this address should be in here actually, frame number 2. So then that will tells you the location should be in the frame number 2. So that is in the frame number 2, but you are asking the physical address actually. So to find the physical address, easy way to do is actually your virtual address is given as 8200. Now, if you convert this into the binary value, you will get the exact position, actually physical location. Now, to get that one, this is how you should do it. 8200. There are different methods you can use to do it actually. Now, remember in memory addressing, physical virtual address has two components always, you have to keep in mind. and physical address has two components. What are the two components here and there? So one way to get the answer is here actually. So that is virtual address has a P. P means page number. D means displacement. And this one has a frame number F. D is the displacement. So either you can use frame number and displacement to find the physical address. Virtual address is given by, this is the virtual address. Virtual address is given by two components, P and D. And physical address is given by F and D. Now what we have given is actually virtual address, 8200. Now, if you take the page size here, remember the page size is 4 kilobyte. Remember, if you know the page size, you can find the D, displacement. How do you find it? Now, page size is 4 KB. Now, 4 means 2 to the power 2, and KB means, remember, 4 means 2 to the power 2, into KB means 2 to the power 10 bytes. Okay, 4 means 2 to the power 2, kilobyte means 2 to the power 10, then both together 2 to the power 12. So that means you can find the D is equal to how much? 12 bits. This is an easy way to find out how many bits for the D. That is 12 bits. That means this D gets 12 bits. And this D also will get how much? 12 bits. That is same for both. Same D. Then how to find the P? To find the P, now we are given the virtual address. Virtual address is 8200. Now 8200, if you convert this into binary to 8200, okay? So divide by this 41. If you divide by 2, 2, 0, 50. If you divide by 2, 1, 0, 25. If you divide by 2, 5, 1, 2. 1 is remaining. If you divide by 2, 2, 5, 6, 0. If you divide by 2, 128. 64. Divide by 2, 32. You divide by 2, 16. Sorry, here this should be 0. So this is what you get actually. Then you get how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, 14. So you get this as 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, 10 should be removed actually. So here there is no 0. It should be here. That means, remember, this part is a D. This part is a D. This one. And this one is a P. That is what you got previously by calculating. P is 100 means, sorry, it should be, sorry, this 0 should go here. It should be 10. P is 10, others should go here. So remember, this value should go to the same as the D value here. And P is 1010 means 2. For that, actually, frame number is this one. So we have to add that one here, this value here. And this D will be same D here, this one. That is how you can find the physical address. That is how you have to make the calculation. In the last part, write down one advantage of page table print with specific program size. Remember this page table, it is used for what? Page table is used for basically virtual memory. Virtual memory. Page table is used to convert page number to frame number. Why are we using that one? That is for the virtual memory. Now, basically, in terms of the program size, what is the advantage in the virtual memory? You can run very large program, even it is larger than the physical memory. So that is the advantage of this. Last part, give one reasons as to why particular page of the process could be absent. That is because of that page is not in the memory, that page is in the hard disk. That is why it is absent, because that page cannot be loaded to memory, no space in the memory. That's the concept of virtual memory. So those are the answers for target essay part. Any questions after now? Okay, then I just want to go to the, okay, we just want to go to the first part. That is basically, you want to discuss about this part.